Recycle money just like banks do. This is part 2 of a 3-part series. In this video, you're going to learn how banks recycle money to create wealth. Major companies like McDonald's, Walt Disney, General Electric, as well as many others, utilize these principles to store money until they're ready to be spent or till it's ready to be invested. You'll also learn how businesses as well as individuals use infinite family banking concepts, as well as how you can have a loan for less than 1% to pay off bills, start a business, or as a real estate purchase. How would you like to buy property for less than 1% interest? Now, you don't have to be wealthy in order to get started. You can get started with where you are today. A common misconception that many people have is they can't start their own bank or be like a bank unless they're already wealthy. Hi, my name is Mike Hero Hieronymus, and I'm the founder of Infinite Family Banking. I'm not the founder or the creator of these concepts or principles because banking is actually a system that's been around for over 100 years by utilizing high cash value, low commissioned insurance. These are only being utilized in the proven system of using a permanent whole life insurance, guaranteed rates of return that compound tax-free. Major companies like General Electric actually utilize this system way back in the 50s. What companies do in many cases for their high-end executives, when they have all that money that's sent and stored in their retirement programs, what they do is they purchase a whole life insurance policy. Now, when that individual dies, quits, leaves the organization, they recapture those funds back in and utilize those funds at another whole life insurance company for the next executive. If that executive were to stay long enough to reach their retirement, or in many cases a pension, if they self-fund it, they actually can use those funds in the cash value and pay out to that individual their retirement, their pension, or their benefit program. In this way, the company doesn't lose money, and if, God forbid, the employee dies, the corporation receives all of the cash value back, as well as dividends that are all tax-free, and they also receive the death benefit because the company actually owned the insurance policy. Ray Kroc from McDonald's actually had a problem getting started and wanted to see how he could finance all of his expansion. Many banks weren't allowing him to do that. So banks weren't willing to take the risk. He was able to take the cash value out of his policy, make the investment with it, and let that money grow and compound. When it was ready for the next investment, when he paid himself back, he had additional funds. In the comments below, tell me what you save money on regularly. Is that for back to school clothes? Is that for Christmas? Is that for special events that you have planned, like vacations? Is that for a vehicle purchase? Is it for a boat and RV? Do you save money for home improvements? If you're a homeowner, you probably know that there's some things in your home that are going to happen and they're going to come Depending on the age of your home, you might want to update that old bathroom and kitchen. Eventually, you're going to need to replace the roof. Where do most people get the money for home improvements? Many people are not saving that money. They're waiting until it happens and being reactive rather than proactive. If you know for a fact, if you own a home, that you're going to have expenses, whether it's the plumbing's leaking, electrical needs updated, you have a roof that's leaking, eventually you're going to have an expense that's going to come up. So what's your plan for when that happens? Because if you're a homeowner, you're going to have homeowner expenses. Are you somebody that doesn't worry about it and then after it happens, you react by putting it on a credit card? Are you somebody that reacts like, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it? Meaning that if you have a major problem with your home, like a new roof that needs to be replaced, that you go out and you have to finance it. You might be in a situation currently that you have a line of credit in your home. But what if something happens and you have a medical emergency or any emergency Murphy's Law says that what can go wrong will go wrong. We all know that the storms of life will happen. Crises come up. We have loss of changes in our income. Things happen and bills come due. So one thing that people like is if they know that their home improvements are going to be made, even if somebody has a new home that they've purchased and they figure they've got about 20 years for a roof to be replaced. Well, why not go ahead and take just a little bit of that money today, put it into your banking policy, let it earn guaranteed rates of return, so when that comes, you can just be able to finance it yourself by borrowing against your own insurance policy. You've been able to recycle that money, or what Robert Kiyosaki calls cash flow. Money is flowing in and out of your pockets every day. Why not take advantage of it? One huge way that many people like myself utilize banking is I have a credit card. We get our bonus points on our credit card. We actually have most of our utilities, cable, internet, electric bill is all automatically put on our card where we get extra bonus points and miles. If you're somebody that cannot control their spending, if you're somebody that has money in their checking or their pocketbook and they have to spend it, if they don't have the discipline to hold back until the end of the month to know if their bills and everything are in order, that might not be a good idea for you. But let's talk about that. There are some business owners that I talk to that have a large credit card and they have good credit. They swipe their card for everything in their business expense and then write a check at the end of the month to pay all of that off. If you had a month's worth of your expenses ahead of the game, meaning we all know what our budget is, if you kept track of what your spending is on average, utility bill on average, if you have a car payment, that's going to be a monthly, if you have a grocery budget or miscellaneous expenses, if you put all of your money every single month, paying towards a credit card to pay it off in full and charge everything up every month, you're going to get about an average. Well, let's say that number is $5,000 a month for your expenses. If you had that $5,000 a month in your banking policy, charge everything up in the credit card and either got the cashback rewards, the airline miles, or the discounts, whatever it gave you, at the end of the month, you could pull that loan out of your policy to pay off that debt. Throughout the week, or throughout the month rather, pay yourself back and put it back into your policy. You're going to recycle money. For one thing, you're going to be able to use the credit card company's money for free. It's not going to cost you anything for 30 days. Now, if you're somebody that gets out of control with their credit card spending and you drop by the department store or you go out buy things that you can't afford, that's a totally different scenario. But if you just charge that up and put your utilities and everything on there and then paid yourself back through your banking system because you have at least a month's worth of money set aside for savings for emergencies, then you've got a month's worth that's sitting in your policy that's gaining compound interest. Now let's think about this even further. Whether you're a believer in Dave Ramsey, Frank Cardone, Robert Kiyosaki, or anybody on savings investments, everyone agrees, as well as Warren Buffett, that you shouldn't spend more than you make, right? The other thing that they'll all agree upon, no matter how they have many differences, is they all agree that everybody needs to have an emergency fund, a set amount of money, whether that's 3 months, 6 months, a year, depending on what you do for a living or the industry that you work in, might have a greater need than other people. Any lines of credit that you have out there, like your mortgage, your credit cards, or if you're an individual that owns a business or owns their own professional practice, you have lines of credit out there for business. Or if you apply credit, that loan against your banking policy does not show on your credit report. So if you're somebody, for example, who likes to flip houses, or if you're somebody that has a dream of being a entrepreneur that buys real estate for rental income, and that's going to be your future cash flow. You go to the bank, if you take a loan out for that down payment utilizing your own banking system, they're not going to look upon you unfavorably. They're actually going to look at that as an additional asset that you own because that is all your money. They like that availability of you having a backup. So if you drop that great big down payment on that piece of investment property, the bank's going to be tickled to death because they're going to look up and it's not going to show that as a loan, even if you took it as a loan out of your banking policy. How would you like to have a loan for less than 1% simple interest to either pay off debt or to use it as a business startup or to purchase real estate? When you use your infinite banking system, you are the one that's the banker. You are the one that's in charge. It doesn't show on your credit report. And since you're the banker, you cannot be turned down and you determine what the terms are. Do you want to pay it back as you can? Do you have a set amount that you want to pay? That's all up to you. And you're not going to charge yourself additional penalties if you don't pay your loan on time. Things come up, especially when you're an entrepreneur. This gives you freedom and flexibility, whether you're trying to get tenants out or you're trying to get the right price for that right buyer on that fix and flip. You always have the availability and you determine when or if you ever want to pay those funds back. This is why some entrepreneurs and most families use this as a tax-free retirement program. Now, if any of this sounds confusing, or if you want to have more clarification on how this could make a difference for you, your business, or nonprofit, give me a call and contact me through the link below. In the description below, there'll be information where you can watch a 45-minute webinar where I go step by step from the beginning to end on how, even if you're in debt, how you can be 100% debt-free, including all of your credit cards, automobiles, as well as your any student loans, and even a 30-year mortgage in 7, 8, or less than 9 years. In my personal experience helping families and businesses, we've been able to help people get out of debt of all their consumer debt in less than 2 years to maybe 3 years. And the big caveat, it's without spending any more money than what they're already spending today. What you're doing is you're just being a good steward and a good manager of the money that you have, just like banks do. When you recycle your money, you create wealth. You can actually do this. And if you click the link in the description below for that webinar, you'll be able to have an opportunity for 2 special things that I have on YouTube. One is a free consultation with me where I'll be able to go through a written game plan specifically for you and your situation. So some people might ask, well, Mike, how do you make any money if you're doing all this for free? Unlike the financial gurus online, I don't sell courses on these programs. I give that information out for free. I don't charge you trying to sell a book. I'm not trying to sell you a debt seminar or a program where you order. There's no add-ons or additional hidden. I get paid as a licensed multi-state life insurance agent and general agency owner through multiple insurance carriers. I get paid only if this makes sense for you and you utilize this banking system and want to have me as your personal agent, somebody with experience, somebody that can show a written game plan that has a formula in writing through certain carriers. Again, this is not utilizing projected income, like as if you were to project what your 401k is going to be in the future, because that's unknown. It's not something where it's using universal life or indexed universal life. We don't use those products because there's not a guarantee. We only use them through whole life permanent insurance policies to mutual insurance companies that are over 100 years old, that paid guaranteed rates of interest that I will be able to provide for you at no cost, that shows you exactly how whatever that amount of money that's already in your budget, that you're already spending, because we're all spending money, right? Whether it's cars, clothing, taxes, insurance, money's coming in and out. Take advantage of that cash flow and recycle it. You know you're going to have that bill again come up next week, next month, next season. You're going to have to pay for whether it's childcare for the children in the summertime, for yard maintenance. Use that money and recycle it in your own banking system. Pay yourself back. So if you'd like to have that free consultation, and you'd like to see a free written debt report, and you'd like more information without being even in contact with me, click the link in the description below, watch the video, and go through the steps there. Thanks a lot. God bless, and have a great day. Don't go away just yet. Part 3 is coming up. Pause the video and click the link to register for the webinar below. And then continue to watching Part 3 as well as Part 1 if you missed that. If you're a real estate investor, a realtor, or someone who ever aspires to be, contact me through the description below in the comment section, or through Facebook at Mike Hero Hieronymus, or my Facebook business page, Infinite Family Bank. If you like me and my agency to work through you to help your clients self-finance or be able to use the concepts and business philosophies that you've seen in our video here, or would like to work together with me on how you can help other people become financially independent by using other people's money, leveraging their current debt to get out of debt and live a debt-free life, creating generational wealth that's tax-free, contact me again through the link below.